What's going on, guys? Right, Mommy Teacher in the house, and I am here with the GPL Week number 7 Power Rankings. Kind of the final Power Rankings before the end of the season, as Power Rankings for playoffs doesn't really make a lot of sense. But yep, I'm back. I took a break last week, so I do want to shout out Dinny and Transel for stepping up and doing Week 6 in my absence and screwing it up completely. But you know what? It was fun while it lasted. And also the intro, not quite as good as mine. I have to say I give it about a 4 out of 10. But Dinistrio's back. I didn't fire him too much, I promise.
It was the perfect cheap imitation. I don't know what you're talking about. I think we nailed it.
I mean, it was funny. I did die laughing in the voice call afterwards. I accidentally scared Huddle out of his mind. But it was pretty funny. But yep, we're back, of course, with Power Rankings. Now, for the sake of these Power Rankings, we're not including Nitro in this list, as he actually wasn't here. He actually dropped out of the league. So we didn't include Nitro. So there's only going to be 15, and Nitro's basically just going to be 16th. That's just how we did it. That's the fairest way to do it. But yep, starting in at number 15 then is going to be Crimpix, of course. Winless for a second season in a row. I kind of feel bad because he kind of got a bit smashed by me. But I do want to be honest, though. I felt like this match, compared to when I played him in GPL Season 1, they felt like a little different. I felt like Crimpix's switches made a lot of sense, you know, going into Rotom on my Jellicent. Unfortunately, Jellicent had Sludge Bomb, so Rotom couldn't really switch in there. But I feel like Crimpix's big problem here, against me especially, was his reluctance to bring Duraludon in earlier. He saved it to the end, which he's done a few times this season. I felt like he could have been more aggressive early. I don't think it would have won him the game, however, but I do think it would have at least limited the damage a little bit more. He let his defensive calls get worn down by those Stealth Rocks by throwing away his Rotom that had Defog, most likely. So that was his only Defogger on his team, which made Darmanitan not be able to switch in because of Rocks. Which actually Rhydon picked up the kill right at the very end with Rocks, which was kind of fun. I felt like he just let himself get worn down to the point where there was no comeback.
Yeah, no, it's definitely agree. And he has shown a lot of promise this season as well, all in all. I mean, this is week 7 now, and over the past 6 weeks, 7 weeks even, we've gone on to say, you know, he's definitely improved. He's definitely improved since season 1, that's for sure. But he's still not quite there yet. Whereas Transel's probably making records for undefeated, he's definitely making records for most defeated at the moment. Sorry, Crimpix.
The longest unbeaten run in GPL history at this point. Feels bad,
title. Badge of honor right there.
Yeah, but he does take it in good spirits, though. That's something I will say. Does. Like, you know, there's never any tilt. There's never really any anger about it. Like, you know, he just says, "Oh," because I even remember in the battle when I had my Goodra in against his Clefable, he tried to predict the switch because he knew my Jellicent had Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, my Goodra had Sludge Bomb as well, and happened to be Specs, which two-shots Clefable. So it was a little unfortunate, but that was an instance where he could have brought Duraludon in, but chose not to. So things like that. He was just giving me Pokemon for seemingly no reason. And that's something I think next season I'd like to see him work on that. Kind of like try and make a little bit of a more safer decision. I also don't know if he was calking during the match. I definitely noticed he was playing slower than he did last season against me. I don't know if he was calking and just misreading, or if he just was taking his time and making the wrong choice. But yeah, it definitely shows some signs of aggression. I think if he comes back next season, I would expect to see more. I do think he'll win a game next season. I thought he'd win one this season, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Well, I think next season he'll definitely win at least one, maybe more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I can't wait to see it. That moment when he does win the game. Celebrations all around. It's just going to be all in all a good time, you know?
Absolutely. Alright, so coming in at number 14 then is going to be Sylvie. I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I backed Sylveon in the pick'ems this week because I thought this was a good opportunity for him to actually come out without any real pressure. He had nothing to play for, so it didn't really matter so much. But I expected to kind of see him come out different and actually start to put in work. It didn't happen. He kind of just didn't really turn up, if I'm being honest. Like, he threw away Mons for seemingly no reason, especially the Linoon, especially the Mr. Mime. Definitely come to mind as very big throws for no reason, especially on the Ninjas when Togekiss was a better switch, and just never really happened. And I don't know what it was that caused Sylvie to lose this badly, but it definitely just felt like he didn't turn up.
Sylvie seems to have like on and off days where one moment against, say, like Solo, I think it was, he came in fists blazing, almost beat him. In fact, he probably would have beat him if it wasn't for one move. Then the next week he comes in where it feels like he's just copy and pasted the team into his Showdown and just said, "Hey, I'll change a few moves here and now, or maybe not even that," and just sort of like wing it. And all in all, I think with a combination of just getting outplayed and just not really making the correct moves, he just got absolutely destroyed. Again, though, another person I would really like to see come back. It wouldn't feel like a draft league without Sylveon at this point. So, chin up, brother. You got this next season. I'm rooting for you, dude.
Even if we meme on him, like, he's still good fun to make content from. Nah, I'm joking.
Despite all the memes, I mean, he takes it in stride, and I think it's gotten used to it at this point. I feel a little bit bad, but you know, so you take it on in stride, and good on you. Son.
I think we need to start a hashtag buff Sylvie movement.
Nerf Transel, buff Sylvie.
Buff Crimpix, buff Sylvie, nerf Transel, and nerf Shadow. Well, no, not Shadow, nerf DJ.
DJ Berger and
yeah,
they come down a few levels. We'll take those levels, put them into Crimpix and Sylveon. It'll be a good time.
Oh dear, here comes the memes already. You're welcome, guys. Right, coming in at number 13. Then it's actually going to be the guy that Sylvie lost to, which is cool. I'm actually kind of surprised and happy to see it in a way. This was kind of what Cool can do against a weaker opposition in the league. He was definitely outclassed by those higher up. There was no comparison there. But against the teams below him, he didn't really seem like too far out of place. I felt like this time round he kind of got away with being greedy. Like that Ninjas being allowed to set up as much as it was. Probably shouldn't have happened. Sylvie kind of let it happen, which allowed the Alchemy to do a lot more work. We haven't seen too much from that Alchemy this season, so this was a better showing for it. But yeah, I kind of felt like he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. But it does end him on a decent high note. It's a slightly better differential than the garbage it was going into this week. Still not great, though, for a 3-4 record. It shouldn't be that far down, but I think that just shows the measure of what he was up against this season.
He started off the season very strong with 2 wins. He did falter slightly against harder opponents, though. Sort of like give him some sort of respect in regards that he did put a lot of effort into it. He did try. I mean, like each turn took quite. You could see him thinking about each turn that he made. Wasn't always necessarily the correct turn, but needless to say, he put in that little bit of extra and that little extra mile. Against Sylveon, I think the match was pretty clean. Clearly, it was in his favor. Yeah, he did get away with a few moves that Sylvie probably could have capitalized on. But all in all, prep was there. Match was done. I guess it was just an easy game for Cole. And he gets the end of the season on a bit of a high note. So, congrats, dude.
Indeed. Alright, coming in at number 12 then is going to be no surprise to see you down here.
Oh, this fucking loser. What the hell
yeah, I know.
This guy?
What a knob jockey. How's he running this league? What the fuck? Nah. Nah. We were joking about this before. Dinistrio is actually the only staff member that didn't make playoffs, so we were rather jokingly said we're going to fire Dinistrio and the highest ranking staff member gets to be commissioner next season. Obviously, that's not actually going to happen. That's a joke. Don't worry. Dinistrio hasn't gone yet. We hope he doesn't go, but he hasn't gone just yet.
Damn it! Hate that guy.
But yeah, I know. I hate him too. He's a real arsehole. But nah. Like, all jokes aside, though, he got a win by a forfeit, so yet another win he didn't deserve this season. Nah, I'm joking. But yeah, all jokes aside, it's a forfeit win. There's not really much to say about this, so I'm just memeing because it's funny.
I played really hard for that forfeit win.
I know. So he played so hard, his opponent dropped out.
Yeah, dude. That's my superpower. Oh, what's that? Yeah, it was accidentally kicked the pistol. I guess it's a forfeit. Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, that's the only way Denny's going to win next season. I rather jokingly said before we started recording this video that Denny has to be in a group with me and Crimpix next season and go 0-7. That's his challenge.
Yeah, dude. My goal is to get even worse of a result than I already have. That's my goal.
All right, moving swiftly on from that one is going to be Tyler. Missed playoffs due to losing to Nico. I'm not surprised to see this, if I'm honest. I was very disappointed when I watched this match. Noticing that Alchemy was a mono-psychic attacking one way too late and throwing away the Snorlax and the Quagsire for seemingly no reason definitely was the big detriment to this match. I definitely feel very strongly that Tilt crept in again. We've seen this quite a few times from Tyler this season where Tilt has crept in. I also feel like without Professor helping him prep, his prep definitely didn't feel as good. I don't think his idea seemed to be as clean as it has been in the earlier weeks of the season. I think that really doesn't help him either. So, like, if he does come back next season, which I hope to see him back, I think what I'd want to see is a bit more refinement with his team building, a little bit less reliance on everybody else building his teams, because I know he does build an initial idea, and he has gone through 2 other people for front office help, including Professor. I definitely think that is an issue. But that being said, though, Tyler is still very young, right? Tyler's got a long way to go in the competitive scene. The fact that he only missed playoffs by the odd 1 or 2 games this season is a good showing of where the potential's at. A lot of people have messaged me and sort of said, you know, he's got the potential to be good, but this season it just didn't happen for him.
I feel like the Cosmos cursed. Honestly, everybody who seems to pick up Necrozma doesn't seem like, or even brings them to a game, never seems to be able to capitalize on this supposed beast's power. I know there was a lot of talk about Necrozma in the beginning, where people were saying how good it could potentially be, but I don't know. Like, I struggle to use it. I think Tyler struggled to find a good place for it, and when everybody else is utilizing their A and S tier Pokemon really well, and you're not. It really does make a heck of a difference.
It's a big trough in power level. Yeah.
All in all, Tyler, he's had a decent season. You know, he's had a few hiccups here and there. Bit of a tilt going on there and here. He was able to dethrone Berger from a flawless win streak, though, so that was pretty impressive. I think he's a good battler. Definitely a lot of potential as well still there. Season 3, come back, and we'll see what you can do. I think you'll be a pretty valued member for Season 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, coming in at number 10 then, unfortunately having to forfeit their match this week, which also forfeited their playoff spot. Obviously both players actually had an issue here, was Team Body Press. There's not really too much to say here, as obviously the match didn't go ahead, but other than the fact we do wish these guys well, and we do hope to see them back fully well and recovered from everything going on. I know there's a lot to deal with. But yeah, I hope they do come back next season. Maybe as their own individual teams again. I'd like to see Agoshi see how he goes on his own, or Cap Guy see how he does on his own. But if they do come back as a pair again, which I would be like to see, I thought they were quite fun to play against this season. I definitely had a tough time breaking them down. They were definitely a tough team. I definitely think they played and prepped very well for most of their matches. So it's kind of sad to see it end on this note. This is not really how you want to end the season, especially when you were in a playoff race. But yeah, ultimately there's not much to say other than that, I think, personally.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was looking forward to the game, but unfortunately, you know, life happens and things do tend to get in the way. And when it comes to these things, you put life before any form of video game. So, Cap Guy, get well soon, buddy. Goshi, hope things are all going well. Hope everything's coming back online and everything's good there. Hope to see you guys next season. It's been fun. It's been a blast.
Yep. Alright, so coming in at number 9 then is going to be Nico, who actually won his game, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough to see him into that playoff spot. And what was a very close conference in our side of the draw this season. I actually have always been impressed with Nico, even in his losses. I've also been impressed with Nico's mentality as well. I had a chance to speak to him and Solo in a voice call after you left. A little while we were having a chat, and Nico was very honest with his own assessment. Like, he had good moments where he played well, but then he had a couple of games that he really shouldn't have thrown, but he did throw them. And I think he's got a very good outlook on the way he plays the game. I think his team was very scary. Like, I had a nightmare prepping for it in myself. And I actually had a favourable matchup, I just didn't realise it, but it's one of those where he's very imposing. I think next season he's a very strong shout for playoffs.
Oh yeah, and he is one of the 3 teams that tied for the win-loss ratio of 4-3. The only thing really putting him out of his playoff spot was the differential, as spoken about, and that was only by like 5 or 4. 4 would have matched EXO, and then 5 would have overtaken EXO. Shane, he did show up and he did play really well. Another player I really want to see come back, because next season is going to be fire, especially if we get like a similar lineup to now. It's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah, I'm dreading the moment I have to face him in a rematch. I'll be honest, that will be a very terrifying prospect.
I would like to actually just fight him, honestly. So many people who I didn't get to battle this season who I really would like to have battled. So next season.
Alright, so coming in at number 8, he snuck in as playoffs in his seed in the other division, which is the only reason he's rank 8 and not rank 9, is Shadow. Bit of a losing streak, has to be said. His momentum kind of fell off in the last couple of weeks. Admittedly, like, he was put on the back foot by Transall consistently. I don't feel like Shadow really had any impact on the game. Personally, I felt like just Transall just walked all over him. He was kind of allowed to, I think. But yeah, I don't expect to see Shadow play that badly going into playoffs. He does have to play Berger in playoffs, I believe, so that's going to be a very challenging match. I do think both of those players stylistically match up well into each other. It's just a question of who actually executes. I don't think Shadow's going to play this badly in playoffs. I can't see it happening, but I would never count Berger out of a game this season.
No, this match was definitely an interesting one, although I feel like the first couple of turns where the Mudsdale got flinched twice by the Piloswine definitely didn't bode too well going into like the next couple of turns after that. Shadow obviously then forced to play from the back foot, and sort of I think there was some form of tilt maybe creeping up in there.
I feel like he didn't need to throw away his Mudsdale though. That's kind of the thing. Like, Piloswine did way more work than I feel like it should have done. Because he also threw the Incineroar away as well, and that kind of made me think, is he tilted? Because there's no way, in my own head, like, if I was playing against Shadow, he would not have made the same play, in my opinion.
No, and like we discussed, I think going into a game with Transall, people just sort of like expect to lose at this point.
There's that intimidation that he's just so strong. It's unreal.
He's like the player version of Zeraora.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a fair way to put it. Yeah. He's definitely a nightmare to play against. But yeah, I feel like Shadow's got to fix himself, dust himself down. He's taken on Berger, who's definitely shown a very good showing this season. I do think it's a tough match, but I expect to see more from Shadow.
Yeah,
I don't expect to see him get rolled over.
It's definitely going to be an interesting match. Like, despite Shadow being 8th place at the very bottom of the playoff sort of like seedings, he's still quite a strong player, and you can't exactly rule him out despite his sort of 8th position. And the same could be said about all the people that are coming up for the playoffs as well.
All these playoff teams are really, really stacked. It's a scary division. It's a scary playoffs. So speaking of number 7 is going to be Exo, of course. Got in by, well, he didn't necessarily get in by a forfeit. He had to win his game to make playoffs, and he did. It's a forfeiture, which is not how he would have wanted to win it, but ultimately he's in. I think it's a tough one. I think he's been so heavily galvanized this season after what was probably the worst start it would have expected from any player in the GPL, let alone Exo. Exo is very, very good at lower tiers. With this format having a lot of lower tier Pokemon, this should be his bread and butter, really. This is his strength. His Sark play is always strong. I'm terrified of that thing. I really hope I don't have to face it in semi-finals, because that's going to be horrendous. But yeah, I feel like Exo has played so much better since he changed his team. He made the changes, and he kind of proved me wrong. I was kind of critical of the changes for a while, but now he's actually completed his course. I think he's proved my Draft 101 video to be somewhat truthful.
Yeah, no, it seems like as soon as those changes were made, it just goes to show what like 3 little changes to a team can actually make. This man is on, despite like having this last win as a forfeit, is actually on a 4 win streak at the moment, which definitely has played a massive factor into even being able to clinch the playoffs to start with. I mean, not even finishing playoffs at 7th place, just above Shadow because of his differential. All in all, he started off really terrible. But like we mentioned way back in like week 3, so power rankings, week 2 power rankings, as soon as Exo puts mind to matter, like he's now come off and now has currently made it through into playoffs, which is something that did not even look very realistic at the first 2 weeks. So congratulations, Exo.
Yeah,
you did good, buddy.
Good luck against Transall, dude. That's all I can say to you. Alright, coming in at number 6 then is going to be me. I still feel bad. This was a very comfortable match. This was probably the most opportune time to come back and play after having to forfeit against Solo due to illness. This was pretty much the only reason I'm above Exo is differential. It basically worked out whoever won the biggest differential was 3rd seed compared to Exo in 4th in this instance. But yeah, I feel like this was just a good way for me to come back. I had all the prep that I wanted. I had all the answers that I wanted. And unfortunately, Crimpix just couldn't stand up to that. I did feel I got lucky, though. I felt like had Duraludon come in earlier, I would have had more trouble. But ultimately, RNGesus decided to turn it into my favor after being against me turn 1 when I missed a Stone Edge, and a couple of little bits later I missed a Leech Seed as well, which they did have small impacts. The Stone Edge actually from Rhydon actually 2 shots to Shackle, so that's why I clicked it turn 1. Somebody actually asked me why I clicked that turn 1 instead of Rocks, but yeah, Stone Edge 2 shots to Shackle, so it made a lot of sense. It also covered a Rhydon switching as well, so it's like, it made sense. I think generally this match went as expected. I don't think I could have 6-0'd that match. I watched it back and I still couldn't really have seen a way that I could have 6-0'd it. If someone does find a way that I could have 6-0'd it, please let me know, because I didn't see it after watching it back a couple of times. But yeah, I felt like this match, I got everything I could have got out of it, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty safe to say, and as I mentioned in sort of last week's power rankings, it's so bizarre to see yourself in such sort of like a 6th position, though it's not exactly low, all things considered. But this season has been pretty decent to you. Yes, you are 4-3, but a +8 differential, and you have had the matches that you have won. Those 4 wins have been very strong wins. Like there's never besides the one match versus Kapka and Nagoshi, like most of your wins have been pretty comfortably sorted out. So it's very bizarre seeing you in the 6th position, and I still think you've got quite a big sort of like good sort of like contender for that finals. So good luck in your playoff matches, dude.
I will be brutally honest though, and I said this to Solo and Nico actually in the same voice call. I actually don't feel like I've played that well this season. I threw 2 games that you would argue I should have won against Tyler and Berger. That's something that, you know, it does weigh on your mind a little bit. Those are the kind of tilting games that you really wish didn't happen. You know, had I gone ahead and won those games, I'd have been 6-1 and probably top of the group, right? So, like, it does make a big difference, and that's where a lot of that goes. You know, and Solo and I both felt like we kind of choked a few games this season that we shouldn't have done, and it's one of those where, you know, that happens. That's Pokemon for you, right? This is the game we play. Like, you're not going to be number 1 every season or number 2 every season. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, someone's going to step up. You know, the fact of the matter is I've made playoffs 3 seasons in a row, which is a pretty darn good achievement, especially in Season 0 when I came in the second half of the season and still made playoffs, right? So the odds are there. I do have a tough opponent, so I'm not going to make any bones about that. So I don't have high expectations, but who knows? I can definitely do it. There's no reason why I can't, but we'll have to see.
The game we play.
Yep. Coming in at number 5 then is actually going to be Solo, funny enough. Only beat me out on differential, which doesn't surprise me too much. He admitted he choked this game by his own admission, which, you know, it's nice to know that he's actually honest about it. I'm not going to flame him for being the choker. I should call him Choco Destroyer instead of Solo Destroyer, but, you know.
It sounds like a cereal.
Yeah! Yeah, he's gonna love that when he sees this. But yeah, obviously,
have a ball of Choco Puffs.
Oh, it is. Someone rename him that in the Discord. See how long it takes him to notice.
Sorry, yeah, I'm so sorry, Simon.
I'm joking. We do love you, man. But yeah, I thought instead of flame you, I thought I'd make a joke out of it because, you know, it's kind of become a bit of a bad habit. I think all 3 of his losses he threw. If I'm being honest, I don't remember one of his losses, but I do remember at least 2 that he definitely threw, including this one.
2 of the matches of which have come down to him setting up with a Corviknight, getting like bulk up or iron defenses, and then stats somehow going wrong, be it like a flinch or a crit or just not reacting when someone's smacking you in the face with a hydro pump, for example.
Yeah, getting burned. That's another one.
Getting burnt even, yeah. I mean, a lot of these like sort of like chokes seem to sort of like revolve around these like really heavy setup Pokemon that don't seem to like switch out when set up, which I know once we get like +6 and something, there's very rare opportunities where you really do want to switch out, but I feel like that was one of the few problems that Solo may have shared throughout his like some of his quote-unquote choking that he's had, especially in this game. Like as soon as that Corviknight went down, and the game just sort of went downhill because the Sandaconda then just sort of like freely set up and swept. So I don't know. maybe I obviously I'm no expert. I'm not in playoffs for a reason, so maybe
Yeah.
they know something I don't. But that's from my perspective anyway.
Yeah, I do hope he dusts himself down though and does have a very solid playoff run. I think he's got actually a kind of a nice playoff bracket. He's dodged DJ and he's dodged Transall, which are very, very scary opponents. There is Shadow still in that side though, so that's someone to watch out for. But again, this playoffs is horrendously stacked. Like, it's so hard to pick a winner on either side, really. Like, you're looking at all the games and you think, I have no idea who's winning that, right? And that's kind of what we're at with Solo right now. It's going to be, is Solo going to turn up or is Choco going to turn up? We'll see.
Choco.
Dear.
Oh no.
Alright, that meme's gonna die very quickly. I can feel it coming. But right, moving swiftly on from me and my stupid sense of humor, it's gonna be Pelly. Definitely. I'm actually really happy to see him here. Obviously, he had a nice cushion to work with Professor's team. Did make some changes to it, which I actually was kind of critical of. I was kind of sad to see the Copper Jar get dropped. But ultimately, I feel like Pelly actually played very well since he came in. I was actually impressed. Like, I saw his game versus you, and I thought, okay, definitely looks better than the Pelly I remember. And then this week, it kind of felt like more of the same. Like, he just played pretty solid. I didn't really see too much that he could have done better. There were definitely some minor hiccups, but yeah, I'm actually happy to see Pelly here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he just didn't predict or assume that Helios would have Focus Blast, which I thought was a bit odd, but all in all, I mean, it was quite a solid game. He did kind of get a little stomped by that Copper Raja. I didn't really have too many answers for it.
I mean, how many answers are there for that thing? Especially with the way it's been played. Like,
and that Lapras though towards the end got really excited, but then just couldn't get that good. A good bit way too tanky for it, unfortunately. But definitely some bright plays from Pelly, and he's definitely one of those players where it's really hard to predict what the heck he's going to do. Like that memento on Dinistrio was, I did not see that one coming, honestly.
No, I didn't either. And actually, when I watched the replay back, I was like, the fuck? What is this? But I was pretty happy when I saw it, but I was also kind of confused. Like, it
just goes to show like that he's not afraid to sort of like pull a trick like such as Memento out of his like sleeves and just see what he can do and throw that out there. So I'm very now especially now, so in playoffs, yes, obviously it's a knockout stage, but you don't have to play for differential anymore.
No.
So I'm very interested to see what else he has in store for these next upcoming matches or match.
Yeah, it is just results now, so we'll see. Now, I think that sometimes that actually buffs people as well when they don't have to worry about like the bigger differential wins, where people can actually just make free-flowing decisions. I'll be interested to see how Pelly adapts to that, because obviously he didn't make playoffs last season, so it's a very different scenario now. But alright, coming in at number 3 then is going to be Berger, our surprise package this season, and I'm very happy to see him up here. I think, honestly, I think Berger, throughout the entire season, has pretty much played exactly as I expected. This game, though, kind of felt somewhat scrappy. I did like his Sandaconda set, but I felt like he needed Body Press. I felt like Body Press really would have done a bit more than Fire Fang. I'm not really convinced by the Fire Fang Brain. I did like the Rest Shed Skin. That's always a nice little tech. He did get lucky with it, though. It did proc more often than it does. It's only a 30% proc, so it's not a lot. But he managed to get it every time he rested, from what I remember. But yeah, like there were definitely moments where I felt like he was going to slip it up, and I felt like he was going to lose. But the choking happened again, so Berger ended up sneaking away with a narrow win here, which I'm very happy for. I think he definitely has deserved to top the group this season. I think he's played the better of anyone in that conference, so it's no surprise to see it there. But I'm really excited for his playoffs now.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to see what he can bring to the playoffs as well. And honestly, watching some of his Sandaconda games has made me like you with Orbeetle has made me appreciate Sandaconda that little bit more. I didn't think it was a very good Pokemon going into the season, but there's a few Pokemon that I've sat and watched people use this season that I've gone, okay, maybe it's not useless. So I wouldn't mind trying that next season. And Sandaconda G-Max, definitely one of those Pokemon that has definitely surprised me this season.
I'm semi-regretting him letting him have it now, because but yeah, because I originally drafted it, remember? So I knew this was a thing. I knew that Sandaconda was actually very strong, but a lot of people kind of slept on it. And obviously, you know, I got my Orbeetle, so I don't mind either way. I got an even more underrated G-Max, so yeah, I'm pretty happy. But yeah, Berger's scary. There's definitely a lot to answer. But speaking of scary, can we nerf this guy before he plays me, please? Like, can we make him just drop his Copperajah or his Dragapult so I don't have to worry about them? Because those things are scary. But yeah, DJ's here. He's finally bumped up to second place. He's been chasing Berger's second place rank all season long. I know he's mentioned it in a couple of his battle videos where he wants to be number 2. Well, you're there now. You're there now, dude. Definitely a decent win. I think he grinded that out extremely well. That Girder is actually kind of annoying, I'm not going to lie. Girder actually did way more than I thought it would in that match. But yeah, DJ is proving why he's one of the best players in this league, and why he's a terror to play off in playoffs. And why I kind of wish I was almost 4th place, but then I don't, because I would have had to play Transall, so I kind of got the lesser of the two evils, whichever way you look at it. But yeah, this guy's a monster, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to beat this guy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, DJ has definitely come out with a point to prove this season, and it's been real scary. I mean, he dominated most of the people, in fact, if not everyone, apart from one game.
Which was his week 1 against Transall, which he only lost 1-0. So, like, even in that situation, like, even in his loss, it was a narrow one. But
he's been a scary player throughout the entirety of the season, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, especially now that he's in the playoff stage. He's just, like we spoke about it before, like, I feel like he's been able to, like, bring almost identical teams each week, but still somehow surprise everyone with the sets.
Yeah, he brings so much variety in his sets, even if he doesn't necessarily use all his mons. The only one he hasn't used this season is Shiftry. Bring it against me, I dare you. I've got answers for it. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, but yeah, like, in all seriousness, even if he brings all his low tier mons, he's probably going to be terrifying to play against. You know, he's just one of those that he's just so imposing because of how well he's played. And I know for a fact I have not played nearly as good, so I've got my work cut out. But you know, at the end of the day, everybody's beatable. Just this guy's terrifying. But can we please just nerf this idiot? I hate seeing him up here. He's warmed this seat up way too long now. The seat's literally going to be lava. We need to play the chair as lava. Transall, of course, going undefeated. I'm surprised that he was undefeated, but at the same time, he's just played ridiculously well. like, aside from his match against DJ, I can't really think of a game that he played particularly badly. You know, he's playing his Aegislash better than he has done. He's definitely playing his mons extremely well. I was concerned a lot for how much Piloswine was going to do. It did way more than I expected to. It was kind of allowed to do more than it should have done, if I'm being honest. But it definitely showed up huge trumps for me. But yeah, Transall proving once again that he's number 1. He won the league last season. He's definitely a shout to win the league this season. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, no, he's only seemed to have one goal in mind right now, and that's the finals and potentially becoming Season 2 champion, back-to-back champion. Scary boy. You talking about earlier that all players can be beaten, but here we are talking about the undefeated champion right here. Oh boy, it's going to be a real... This playoff is so stacked. Transall probably likely one of the favorites to win, but given the position and the sort of like the style and plays that Solo and Berger, yourself, Shadow, so many people in this playoffs can cause such a threat. And all it takes in Pokemon is one crit, one flinch to really make a difference. One really smart Gigantamax play. Transall definitely got some work cut out for him if he's going to try and become champion for the second time coming, but very doable based on like how well he has played. So looking forward to seeing how he plays in the playoffs now, and good luck to you and good luck to everyone in the playoffs, really.
The semi-finals will be interesting if it's Transall versus DJ.
Oh yeah, that would be a bit of a grudge match
It's kind of sad that that's not the final, but yeah, either way though, that's going to be Power Rankings this week, of course. good luck for everyone in playoffs, especially me. Nah, I'm joking. Right, but good luck everyone in playoffs. I'm really looking forward to seeing these matches. I'm also looking forward to Pick'ems this week and seeing who flames me because I don't back them. But but yeah, either way, thank you everyone so much for watching. My name is Robombi Teacher. That's Dinistrio.
Have a good one, guys. Good luck in your games.
Yep, and make sure to stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.